Welcome to Beautiful Thrift Homemaking. I'm Linda. We're reading through a vintage cookbook from 1917. It's called A Thousand Ways to Please a Husband. It's also an instructional novel. So we're following the year in the life of newlywed Bettina and her husband Bob. And we find out from Bettina how she manages her kitchen. She also shares her recipes with us. And so we are right now in the month of September with Bettina. We are in chapters 49 and 50 today. Bettina attends a porch party, chapter 49. Well, what have you been doing today? Asked Bob after he had finished an account of events at the office. I've been away all afternoon, Bob, at the loveliest little porch party at Alice's. You know, her porch is beautiful, anyhow, and her party was very informal. She telephoned to five of us this morning and asked us to come over and bring our sewing. The day was so perfect. She served a delicious little luncheon from her tea cart, very simple, but so good. And the beauty of it was that she had made everything herself. She didn't tell the girls, but she whispered it to me. Of course, if she had told the others, she would have given herself away. They are a little suspicious of her now because she is seen everywhere with Harry. He told me he wished they could announce it right away. He doesn't like to make a secret of it. It won't be very long now. You know they are to be married in October or November. But, Bob, as I was telling you, Alice did all the cooking for this party herself. Of course it was simple, but really, I think she is quite wonderful. She has never done anything useful before, but she is so clever and she has such a knack that it will really be easier for her than for Ruth. And Ruth will work twice as hard. Alice says that she is going to give other little parties this way and practice on her guests. She says she is determined to do things just as well as anybody else, and now that she is interested, she has a tremendous pride in being a success. You know how high-spirited Alice is. Well, she isn't to be surpassed by anyone in anything she cares to do. Oh, I forgot, Bob. She gave me some cakes to bring to you, and also some salted nuts. Hooray for Alice. She's some friend, all right. What else did you have at the party? Such good salad. She gave me the recipe. Well, her menu consisted of Honolulu salad, graham bread sandwiches, frozen apricots, white cake, salted nuts, and coffee. And of those recipes in the menu, in this chapter, we are told how to make the Honolulu salad and the frozen apricots. All right, now I'm going to go on to reading chapter 50, A Dinner Cooked in the Morning. We'll treat Uncle Eric so well that he'll have a good time in spite of himself, Bob had said when he had proposed that his gruff old uncle be invited. I'll take Saturday afternoon off, and we'll go to the matinee, then we'll come home to dinner, and then go again to the theater in the evening. For a great actor was to be in town, and this was the reason for Uncle Eric's possible visit. If he'll only come, Bob added doubtfully. He'll come, said Bettina confidently, for she felt that she had discovered the soft spot in Uncle Eric's heart. We'll have a good dinner, too. But Bob remembered what she had said about the dinner and repeated it to himself as they stepped from the streetcar after the matinee. It's late, Bettina, he said anxiously. Will it take you long to get dinner? A very few minutes, answered Bettina, just long enough to warm it over. To warm it over. But then, all of Bettina's dinners were good, so he resolved not to worry. Nevertheless, he could not help leaving Uncle Eric for a few minutes to come into the kitchen. What can I do to help? Not a thing, Bob dear. You see, I had this whole dinner ready this morning, and I have warmed it all up in the oven. I have discovered that croquettes are exactly as good when fried in the morning, and so are veal cutlets. And wait till you try the cauliflower. I trust you, Bettina, said Bob, laughing. It all looks mighty good to me. Here, I'll help you put it on the table. For dinner that night they had veal cutlets, potato croquettes, scalloped cauliflower, baked apples, bread, butter, chocolate ice cream, and white cake. And in this chapter, we have Bettina's recipes for the veal cutlets, the potato croquettes, and the scalloped sorry about that, the scalloped cauliflower. All right, so join me in a second. We'll have a discussion of those two chapters. All right, well, Alice is engaged, and she has not announced her engagement yet. And it looks like Harry is eager to get that announcement out there to his his friends and family. So anyway, Alice, you may remember, was what is called a society girl. She has been raised in a wealthy family and not been asked to do anything. So she didn't have any practical skills going into her future job as a homemaker, a wife, and all. And so she is practicing right now, and Bettina is helping her. She's getting advice from Bettina and trying things on her own. She invited some girls over to sew on the porch, and I imagine they might be doing some mending, something like that, some kind of hand sewing. That sounds like a lot of fun. So they're sitting on the porch. It is September, so it's nice out, I'm sure. And I like that she served the delicious little luncheon from her tea cart. Those were popular back in the day, weren't they? A little cart on wheels, probably made of wood. And we know Bettina's has an antique sampler under glass on the top of hers. So let's see. Alice had not told the other girls that she had made these foods. She's not quite up to that yet. She didn't want to admit that she had made everything, but she is practicing on her friends, and friends are safe for that reason, aren't they? Friends are safe to practice recipes on. So she's got a good thing going there. It's interesting that Bettina has compared Ruth with Alice and says that her other friend Ruth doesn't have quite the knack for cooking that Alice is showing. So Ruth has to work twice as hard. So not everyone has things come to them easily, but to Ruth's credit, she does work hard and is gaining in her skills also. So that's good. And then Bob gets a little bit of the cake and some salted nuts from the luncheon that Bettina was able to bring home from Alice for him. And then the recipe for the Honolulu salad. Do you wonder what it is? What do you think would be in a Honolulu salad? And you're probably right if you said pineapple. It does have 6 slices of canned pineapple, 1/2 a cup of cottage cheese, 1 tablespoon of chopped pimento, 1 teaspoon of chopped green pepper, 1/4 a teaspoon of salt, 6 nutmeg halves, 6 pieces of lettuce, and 6 tablespoons of salad dressing. The instructions say to add the chopped pimento, the green pepper, and the salt to the cottage cheese. Work all together well. Shape into balls 1 inch in diameter. Place a ball in the center of each slice of pineapple, which has been arranged upon a piece of lettuce. Place a nutmeg upon the top of each cheese ball. Serve 1 tablespoon of salad dressing upon each service. So I think you can imagine that. A ring of pineapple with a little hole in the center like they have, and then a little ball of cottage cheese set into the center hole there with a nut on top, and that whole thing put on a piece of lettuce, and then a little salad dressing on the top. So it's a decorative thing, isn't it? It probably looks pretty cheerful. And in that cottage cheese, you had that pimento, the green pepper, some salt. So not a lot of flavoring in the cottage cheese, but a little something. Frozen apricots have a little more to them than you might suspect. It says to cook the apricots, sugar, and water until the apricots are soft, about 5 minutes. So that would be 2 cups of peeled and quartered apricots, 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of water. Then after you cool that, you add the lemon juice, which is 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and then you freeze. When the mixture is half frozen, add the stiffly beaten white of the egg and continue freezing until stiff. More sugar may be used if desired. Well, that's very interesting because she's almost making like a sorbet or some type of frozen fruit treat. It's not just an apricot that's been shoved into the freezer, is it? So, unfortunately, it is September now and apricot season has passed. It's a very short season earlier in the summer. So we're not going to be able to try that because I cannot get 2 cups of good apricots at this point. Now, chapter 50 was a dinner cooked in the morning. So we have Bettina. She's teaching us. She's teaching us to plan ahead and to prepare ahead. She's going to have a guest in her home, and he's a grumpy old guy, a relative of Bob's. So they're going to entertain him by going to the movies and going to the theater and so forth, keeping him busy. But they're going to feed him dinner afterwards, and Bettina had it all ready, and she discovered that certain things make really good warmed over for dinner. They make really good choices for that. Some things don't taste very good if you reheat them. My opinion, for example, an example of that would be chicken. I just don't think chicken works that well to be reheated. It gets dry and the flavor gets a little off, especially if it's been left over for a few days, a day or two. So anyway, that's not what she's having. She's having veal cutlets, and that has some cracker crumbs with a little egg yolk and cracker crumbs, and then they're fried. And then the potato croquettes are made from mashed potatoes, seasoned with some parsley and onion extract, and then it has a little bit of egg yolk and milk added to make it soft enough to form. It, of course, has paprika in it and some salt. The mashed potatoes are mixed with celery salt, parsley, onion extract, egg yolk, milk, salt, butter, and paprika. You beat them for 2 minutes, shape into balls 2 inches in diameter, roll in flour, and allow to stand 15 minutes. Cook in deep fat 3 minutes or more until a delicate brown. Drain on brown paper and keep hot in a moderate oven. All right. So little fried mashed potato patties is what those are. Let me know in the comments if you like some kinds of potatoes made as potato cakes and so forth. All right, now we have the scalloped I am having such a hard time saying those words together. Scalloped cauliflower, 3 portions. That's 1 small head of cauliflower, 1 quart of water, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1½ cups of vegetable white sauce seasoned, and 1/4 of a cup of buttered crumbs. Now, this is another recipe that calls for one of our white sauces. This one is what she calls the vegetable white sauce. It was covered in another chapter, as were all the white sauces. Soak the cauliflower in cold water, to which a tablespoon of vinegar has been added. Cut apart and cook in a quart of water to which salt has been added. Make white sauce and add the cauliflower. Pour into a well-buttered baking dish, cover with breadcrumbs, buttered breadcrumbs. Bake 20 minutes in a moderate oven. All right, so I know you understand that by now, that's a popular food preparation technique during the 1917 era. So thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time for chapters 51 and 52, again in the month of September. Hope you're having a really nice September if you are watching while I'm making these. And I just want to thank you for joining me, and I hope you're enjoying the stories and the talk about the recipes, and maybe even getting a few tips. All right, thanks.